Sincere apologies for bringing the news late. However, to present news, I'm Clara Icengelo. Radio Icengelo is doing everything in Christ with love and truth. The headlines. Increase buying price for maize. The bad state of the road that leads to Chibuli Primary School in Mpongwe worries residents. And Malonga Water embarks on the construction and rehabilitation of water kiosks. Kindly be informed that we're also streaming live on the Radio Icengelo Facebook page. Now the news in detail. Farmers in Lufwanyama want the buying price of a 50-kilogram bag of maize to be not less than 200 kwacha. During the last harvesting period, government, through the Food Reserve Urgency, purged the buying price of a 50-kilogram bag of maize at 110 kwacha. But in an interview with Radio Icengelo News in Lufwanyama, the farmers said this year they want the buying price to increase following the high price of most farming inputs. They charge that when the buying price is set below 200 kwacha, they would not make any profit.
Chawama kuitwe. Yango pa 250 nishefi yako. Kailando wakati fertilizer yani namba fertilizer tunaweza 800. Namba ngapaba tu state fertilizer 800. Leo wasombora. Kabali tulesa ngante. Mutanga ufira wani na kona wena pa mataresa kadi yako na 250. Kumutengo wa mataba uliererwe okoni na uno mwaka. Kuti yaze kataba kwache. Isaka ya mataba ni bakabike pa 200 kwacha pakuti ni shafis wako.
The ongoing construction of ablution works at Sopelo Market of Buntungo Ward in Chimwemwe using constituency development funds has cheered traders. Speaking to Radio Icengelo News, some traders said it was good that the toilets are being constructed at the market, as the market has been operating without toilets for a long time.
Now, but today, we are dancing one toilet. For councillor, never white development committee. But today, I am a toilet. I want to back at him. Ukuchicha and I am a really shiriko. Oh, not them one, not some Gaza, not here.
Not the Masana. Because development, we are going to pass up pedo. Talk at the structure, toilets, Kangaranges. Too much in Jacoreda, because our toilets in Chua, but running motor, and then I got bathrooms. So in short, it's a very big development.
I'm a toilet, what they tell you. I want my son, fan too. So I am a toilet, I got to appreciate coach that prevent diseases.
We are in Tanshi, woman toilets, we say we know not to get up government to find a woman toilets, because they want to.
And Buntungwa Wada Councillor William Nyirenda said the project was progressing well and is expected to be completed in May this year. The bad state of the road that leads to Chibuli Primary School in Mpongwe district has caught the attention of the residents in the locality. The residents bemoan the state of the road, which becomes impassable whenever there is a heavy downpour. They have since called on civic leaders in the area to consider grading the stretch, which is about 7 kilometers from the main road. They spoke to Radio Icengelo News in Mpongwe, Chibuli area.
Tauri bui none matisa ngwale sambane tipale takuri chilipuire balu kase pati wa mafamu na lena balolesha kwa msebo batuchitira kwa msebo yumsebo balolesha kwa gune pamte bantu amatisa ngale sambane arasesha tirape spanga na tina peso ngiri fili ndine mesha ali mu abana bale bakubula mfili ndio planga ilero kwa msebo tauri bui no basuwa mche kwa msebo mandingo wa pasku.
Tego batingi musebe utali sana okufuma mutamaki okufika kwa sikuru. Uyo musebe pepifye nomba pale kuchura sana. Bati pepi okufuma kwa tamaki okufika kwa sikuru. Nomba mulando wamiona ikire ya musebe. Ala tachile wamano. Ala anakutibaisha baba parents to mabika mubita mufimaloba. Nomba tafukwa testa kutifya kale istera kwa ya pisa kimaloba. So kwa pata watu wakishebe jebo cha musebo. Akamusebo fyaka no kupata maji kufika kwa passport Pakola tanguma teachers bayenza bwe. Namunika kimi nikepo kabana. Tuwa papa tamu.
Umusoro wena wakosa kwa mano ngani pale pamiaji wali kukawapita mapayaji so ndazana kuikala mujumula ndo kwa jama teachers pakufuma ke pale pepi hapa nomba bantolesa mkusambilisha na wamasukulu.
As Zambia joins the international community in observing World Water Week, Malonga Water is embarked on the construction and rehabilitation of water kiosks in Kapisha ward of Chengola. World Water Week is aimed at finding solutions to global water challenges and is commemorated a week before the event, which falls on 22nd March annually. The move is aimed at improving water supply in Kapisha Wood, and this development steered the residents, as Patrick Mopeta reports.
Of water supply are not new in Kapisha Ward. However, this is about to change once the rehabilitation of 27 water kiosks and construction of 3 water kiosks is completed. The residents now want the project to be expedited.
Kioski ukankala ukaleta kuno nchende turefu aya menshi kukana alaya notifira batu chitati 1 week takwa aba menshi limina 1 month keta tukwata menshi kuno twalichula ku menshi kuno kwena menshi na twalichula tulapokea kumulungushi.
And Kapisha Ward Councillor Davis Ulenga is optimistic that the project will address water challenges in the area.
Ukankala ulipokuwa kumoroka watu abantu benshi mukapisha bakwata amenshi asuma aho alakwata kweshuko yakwata ya menshi lawale yasunga bwino ero kabiri besta vandalize na kabiri utuma kiosk.
In a related development, Bright Mutonga, who is Mlonga Water Supply and Sanitation Company Limited, has underscored the importance of preserving water as the nation observes World Water Week.
Na ifo chitulingile kwa mwana chako bati kale kafika ikubi pako bati sikabyo kubombera ko iyo na tuambye kubombera po kuchingirira amenshi Yesu pako bati amenshi twingala ya bomfya mwino n'abana besoko balekula na bena bakasange kya amenshi kwe batawe cyabe cyesu cyari kwata amenshi bekaisanga na munchende yako batawe kwa banenkondo pamula ndo kwe bati cyabo kiregwira amenshi.
World Water Week presents an opportunity for the government to identify the remaining challenges the country needs to address in order for citizens to be supplied with safe drinking water.
Well, thank you, Patrick, for that report. Ahead of the 10th anniversary of the start of the Syrian war, the Catholic Church Claritas has launched a campaign to help children in Syria with much-needed medical, humanitarian, and educational resources. According to the Catholic News Agency website, March 15 marks the anniversary of 10 years of war in Syria. The World Bank estimates that the country has suffered at least $197 billion worth of infrastructure damage during the conflict. The charity's Tomorrow is in Our Hands campaign seeks to bolster educational opportunities for Syrian children after the COVID-19 pandemic and pushed 50% out of the education system. In sports, Zanaco and Lusaka Dynamos will clash in the 2021 Absa Cup semi-finals after winning their respective quarter-final games played at Woodland Stadium in Lusaka yesterday. Dynamos beat Prison Leopards 3-1 on penalties after a 1-1 draw in the lunchtime game. In the last quarter-final, March, Zanaco beat Kawi Warriors 6-5 on penalties after a 2-2 draw to reach the semi-finals. Meanwhile, Konkola Blades and defending champions Seska United will meet in the other semi-final after they won their respective quarter-final games on Saturday. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Icengelo with the compliments of Moose Milling and Go TV Broadcasting Zambia Limited. And now the international news is monitored from the BBC. Ugandan politician and former presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi, popularly known as Bobby Wine, has been arrested in the capital Kampala. He was leading a team of MPs from his party, the National Unity Platform, in a protest against arrests and disappearances of supporters in the period leading up to, during, and after the highly contested January election. Security forces have fired tear gas to disperse the crowd that was marching with the politicians. In a virtual address on Sunday, Bobby Wine called on his supporters to use the peaceful means to protest against the election results, which he continues to claim were rigged, and to demand that security forces produce their missing colleagues. The BBC has the rest of the stories from around the world.
Soldiers in the Ethiopian region of Tigray have launched deliberate and widespread attacks on healthcare facilities. Our Africa regional editor Will Ross reports.
The medical charity MSF says it's visited more than 100 medical sites since December and found that 3/4 of them had been looted, some by soldiers, and only 13 function normally. The Ethiopian government says things have improved and most facilities are now operational. MSF said its teams also found a lot of vandalism, with equipment, including ultrasound machines, smashed. The medical charity says 1 in 5 of the health facilities have been taken over by the military, including Eritrean troops.
At least 50 protesters are now thought to have been killed in Myanmar on Sunday in the worst single day of brutality by the security forces since the army coup last month. There were more deaths on Monday. The military has imposed martial law in several areas of the 2 biggest cities, Yangon and Mandalay. Jonathan Head reports.
Over the weekend, soldiers and police could be seen calmly firing their weapons directly into the crowds and dragging off the dead and wounded with no apparent concern for their well-being. Their contempt for the civilian population has been illustrated in multiple videos posted on social media showing soldiers taunting protesters with their weapons and in the savage treatment of detainees. This is a military waging war against its own people, and the growing chorus of outrage from other countries appears to be falling on deaf ears.
Tens of thousands of women have taken part in rallies across Australia to demand justice for victims of sexual abuse. Protesters outside Parliament House in Canberra were addressed by a former government staff member, Brittany Higgins, who last month accused a co-worker of raping her.
I was raped inside Parliament House by a colleague, and for so long it felt like the people around me only cared because of where it happened and what it might mean for them. It was so confusing because these people were my idols. I had dedicated my life to them. They were my social network, my colleagues, and my family. And suddenly they treated me differently. I wasn't a person who just gone through a life.
To end the main news, a reminder of the headlines. Increased buying price for maize. The bad state of the road that leads to Chibuli Primary School in Mpongwe worries residents. And Mulonga Water embarks on the construction and rehabilitation of water kiosks in Chingola. There we end the main news. Good afternoon.
The main news was brought to you by Moose Milling and GoTV Broadcasting Zambia Limited.